So let's talk about the iPhone camera app. That's the app that comes on every single iPhone. Most of us use it every single day, but almost everyone uses it exactly the same way. You open the camera app, you tap the button to take a photo, and you hope for the best. And to be clear, this video is not about turning you into a photographer, and it's not about every hidden little technical camera detail that Apple has in there, but this is for people who just want to take better photos and videos without installing extra apps and without some sort of photography knowledge. It's also for those that want to do this without getting buried in technical settings. Now, the iPhone automatically does a bunch of cool stuff in the background when you take a photo, but most people don't know which things are automatic and which settings are actually worth paying attention to. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use the iPhone camera app the smart way, the easy way, focusing only on the settings and features that'll make a real difference in everyday use for most people. And again, this is not a bunch of ridiculous settings that aren't going to help you, just practical stuff that will really help. I'll also make a one-page cheat sheet at the end of the video that will remind you of what we covered here today with the different modes of the camera and what each one of them does for photos and videos. Now, I know I'm certainly not a professional photographer, but I'm very happy with the photos that come out of the iPhone using all the different modes. Because honestly, once you get comfortable going through the different modes in the camera app, you're going to notice how much better your photos and videos start to look right away. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Dan Fox, and I've spent over 30 years professionally helping people use technology without making it too complicated. My goal here is to make tech easier to use, to save you time, and to save you money. Today, I'm going to show you the easy way to get the most out of the camera app. And I think you'll be really impressed with the quality and the feature set you can get, again, without becoming a professional photographer or going down a techie rabbit hole. Apple usually adds one or two new tricks to the camera app with every new iPhone, but the core tools stay the same. So when you open the camera app on your iPhone, you should see an interface that looks very similar to what I'm showing here. Now, depending on the model of iPhone you have, it may be a little bit different within some of the options. In the upper left-hand corner, if you select here, you'll get options for format and resolution. For most people, you're going to want to leave this alone on its default settings and don't change anything here. Now, in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see these 6 dots. Click here to bring up more options. Now, there's a lot of options built into the camera app. I'm not going to go through every option here, but I'm going to show you the things that are most commonly useful. The flash option here lets you control whether or not the camera flashes when you take a photo. By default, it's set to auto, but if you click it once, it will make the flash always come on. Clicking again will make the flash never come on, and clicking a third time will switch it back into auto, which lets the camera decide. The next option here is for live photos. And if you're not familiar, live photos are basically photos that move a little bit when you tap on the screen or when you scroll through them. They even have sound like a video. Selecting once changes from auto to always on. Selecting again turns to never take a live photo. Selecting a third time turns it back into auto. Auto live photos just means the phone decides when it's a good opportunity to take a live photo and when it should just be a regular photo. The next option here is for a camera timer. So maybe you want to take a group photo. With the timer, you select how much time you want, prop up your phone, and after that amount of time, the phone will automatically take the photo. When the timer's going, the camera flash will strobe and get faster right before it takes the photo. Select once for a 3-second timer, a second time for a 5-second timer, and third time for a 10-second timer. Select a fourth time to turn it off. Now for this video, I'm going to skip the remaining options because most people don't typically mess with them, and the styles option is more of a photo edit, which I'll cover in my next YouTube video about editing photos with the Photos app. But there is sort of one more hidden option in the camera app. If you go to take a photo in a dark environment, when you select that options button in the upper right hand corner, you'll see a new option here called night mode. Now, if you just want to do this as simply as possible, you don't even have to access night mode in the options because it automatically comes on whenever you try to take a photo in a dark environment. And depending on whether you're holding the phone in your hand or if it's sitting on a tripod or sitting stationary on a table, the amount of time night mode will run will differ. The longer it can run, the better quality it's going to take a photo at night. So an easy rule of thumb is you can hold it in your hand if you just want to take the shot, but if you want the very best shot, put it on a counter or on a tripod. In this example, I have my phone on a tripod pointing up at the night sky, so it's going to run for 30 seconds in night mode to get the shot. And this is even better on a clear night, a little cloudy out here tonight, but the shots that come out of night mode are amazing. This is especially true if you don't have much light pollution and there's no clouds in the sky. Now I've sped this up in the interest of time for the video here, but this is the final product. And here's another shot I took in night mode on the tripod. So with the options closed and back in the camera app, you'll see these numbers across the bottom of the viewfinder. These numbers represent the different zoom capability of your specific iPhone. Your numbers will be different than mine based on which model you have. Now, in order to zoom out or in when taking a photo, only ever select these numbers. I've seen many people pinch to zoom out and pinch to zoom in. This can be problematic, especially if you zoom past that largest number on the right, because doing so will severely degrade the quality of your photos and videos. And the last couple things to note on the main camera screen is in the bottom left-hand corner, that little circle. If you click it, it will go to your camera roll and open the latest photo. In the bottom right-hand corner, if you select that, it will open the selfie camera. Now there is one more really cool feature that's available on the regular photo mode of most modern iPhones, and it's completely automatic. If you get really close to something, you'll see a little flower icon pop up, and the camera will take what's called a macro shot. Now these are basically just ultra close-up photos in focus, and it's really cool for things like flowers and bugs and anything you may want to get a really close shot of. So that's it for regular photo options. But if you swipe left, you'll get to portrait mode. A portrait photo allows you to blur out the background or the foreground in a photo. And regardless of if you're taking a regular photo, a portrait photo, any photo or any video, tapping on the screen will focus the camera on the item you tapped. But with portrait mode photos, you can go in after you've taken the photo and change your mind. And specific to portrait photos, you can also go in after and decide how much blur you want on the items that aren't in focus. Tune in next week for my video on the Apple Photos app, where I'll show you how to edit photos easily, including how to edit portrait photos like this. And for most new iPhones, you can actually turn a normal photo into a portrait mode photo even after you took the shot. Depending on which iPhone you have, the next mode you should see when you swipe left is spatial. I'm going to skip this section because spatial photos are made specifically to be viewed on the Apple Vision Pro headset. Now swiping once more will bring you to the last photo setting, which is panoramic. To take a panoramic photo, you hit the shutter button and keep this arrow aligned with this horizontal line as you move the phone. Once you hit the shutter button again, you will have captured an ultra-wide panoramic photo. Quick tip here, panoramic photos can also be taken vertically if you're taking a picture of a really tall building or something. You can also tap the white arrow to change direction. And not the best one I've taken, but here's an example of how that panoramic photo turned out. Now we're going to go all the way back to where we started in the camera app, but this time we're going to select video. But hey, real quick, if you're finding value in this video, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button below, because that really helps my channel grow. If you want to see more content from me, hit the subscribe button below and click the little bell so you get notified anytime I upload a new video. I really do appreciate it. Oh, and one more thing. If you did hit the little bell, make sure you change the notifications on your iPhone to allow the YouTube app to notify you, because if you don't do that, you still won't get notified. Okay, here in the videos section of the camera app, you'll see a similar interface as the photos section. Up here, you can change the resolution and the frames per second. And again, I'm going to recommend most people leave that as it is. And again, if you hit the 6 dots in the upper right-hand corner, you'll get to the options section. Now, the flash option works pretty much the same as it does on the photos section. And again, I'm going to skip the exposure option. But some iPhones will have this action option. Action mode is designed for particularly bumpy footage, like if your iPhone is mounted on a bicycle or maybe the handlebars of a motorcycle, or you're on a really bumpy road. If you're familiar with action cameras like GoPro, it's a similar thing. And the last option here for the newest iPhone Pros is dual capture. I didn't think I was going to use this feature, but it actually works really well if you want to send someone a video of something, but also have a video of yourself in it at the same time. You can pick where the little window of you goes in the footage, but once you make the recording, that can't be changed. Okay, if we swipe over to the next video mode, Depending on which iPhone you have, you may see something called cinematic. Cinematic is really cool because it's basically portrait mode, but for videos. So when you select what you want to focus on, you can actually increase the blur for the things that are not in focus. And just like a portrait mode photo, you can go into the video after you've recorded it and change what you have in focus, and also change how much blur are on the things you don't have in focus. And I know this sounds complicated, but once you try it, you'll see just how incredibly simple it really is. This is another editing feature I'll show you in my next video coming next week, which is all about using the Apple Photos app. And the next option, if you scroll over in video modes, is slow motion. This one's kind of self-explanatory, but it works really well. And if you have one of the newer iPhones, you can do super slow motion. And the last video mode you're going to see in the camera app is time-lapse. Again, self-explanatory, but what's really cool about time-lapse is the iPhone will automatically figure out how much to speed up your footage to make a time lapse based on how long the clip is. So normally that's something you kind of have to select ahead of time. With iPhone, it just figures it out. And also keep in mind that almost all of these modes, whether it be photos or videos, also work when you're using the selfie camera. And like I said, there is a lot to cover here, and you don't need to use every one of these modes, but it is good to have a general understanding of what they do so you don't fight with the camera. And as promised, here's a quick cheat sheet to help you remember what each camera mode does. There's the regular photo mode, which is probably what you're going to use most often still. But in that mode, you can do those super close-up photos called macro photos, and you can also do night mode if you take a photo in a dark environment. The next mode we reviewed was portrait mode, and this is how you take those photos where you can go in and blur the background or the foreground even after you take the photo. Then there's the pano mode. That's the panoramic mode where you can take ultra-wide shots. And remember, you can take them from side to side or up and down. On the video settings, we talked about the regular video mode. And in the video mode, you can also do that close-up macro version of a video like we showed in the photos. This is also where that action mode is, and where you can do dual capture where you can see yourself when you're actually doing a video on the newer iPhone models. There's cinematic mode, which is very much like portrait mode, but for videos where you can blur the background or foreground, and again, even after taking the video. And then there's slow motion, where you can go in after and change the speed and which section you want to be in slow motion. Again, one of these things I'll show you in the next video when we review the Photos app. And then there's time-lapse, which is self-explanatory, but that's how you make time-lapse videos. So there you go. There's your one-page cheat sheet. I hope it helps. And if you really want to take the next step in making your photos and videos look so much better without having a degree in photography, my next video is going to be on how to utilize the Apple Photos app. I was actually originally going to do that as part of this video, but it's pretty extensive and I think it would be a little bit too much in one video. If you're interested in that, check out my next video coming up next week. In that video, I'll show you how easy it is to organize and clean up the photos in your camera roll, and also how easy it is to make some basic edits in the Photos app that will make your photos and videos look so much better. All right, that's it. At this point, you should have a much better understanding of how the iPhone camera app really works, and more importantly, which features are actually worth using. You really don't need to touch every setting in the camera app, and you don't need to micromanage the whole thing. But once you understand which settings are most valuable for you, then you'll notice how easy it is to take better photos and videos. And if this video helped you, please let me know by leaving a comment. If there's a camera feature that you use all the time that I didn't mention, let me know that in the comments too. I read all of them. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope this saved you some frustration, and I'll see you next time.